Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to position your service or your product without sounding like everyone else. This is the single most important skill to master in the B2B sales landscape because competition is only going up. Market saturation is on the rise and more cold emails are being sent every single day. So you need to learn how to stand out from your competition and sell your solution without sounding like them. But the key is doing it without changing anything about what you sell. And so in this video, I'm going to share a 5-step process that I use to differentiate your offer so you can compete in a blue ocean while the rest of your market is fighting for scraps. Now let's dig into it. If you don't know me, my name is Isaac Wood. I'm the founder of levergrowth.io. We're an outsourced B2B appointment setting, go-to-market agency. And so on the screen here are a couple of screenshots from actual customer testimonial videos showing how we've generated over 135K, 120K, 240K to their businesses. Here are a couple Trustpilot reviews just showing again, we are able to practice what we preach and leverage what I share in my videos with you guys so you can learn and actually get some actual results as well. So first, understanding market sophistication. Market sophistication defines your playing field, right? So market sophistication is a term that was made popular by Eugene Schwartz in his book, Breakthrough Advertising. This tells you how aware and experienced the market is with your specific solution. So for example, if the market is new or unaware, your messaging will need to be a certain way, potentially more educational to create demand. If the market is crowded and competitive, you're going to need to highlight innovation or a new mechanism. And if the market is super competitive, like a lot of your markets are, you're going to need to focus on category creation or radical positioning. And I'm going to get into all of this in detail in a second. So first, let's talk about market sophistication from Eugene. So stage 1, new market, totally unaware buyers. This means there's no competition. And again, you got to focus on education. This is what I would call a blue ocean opportunity. The second stage, growing market. Buyers become a little bit more aware. There's less players. Your claims have to be less. And in this case, it's still pretty early. But again, competition is rising. Third stage, you have a competitive market. This is when buyers start to transition into more skeptical. And so there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of claims. A lot of people are performing out there. Some aren't. And so what you need is differentiation. This is really going to be more of a red ocean situation. And again, this is where a lot of markets are very competitive. If you move down one step, you have saturated market. So this is just overloaded buyers. So at this point, buyers are just completely tuning out. This ultimately requires a very unique mechanism to help get the result. Again, red ocean. The last step here, stage 5. This is going to be hyper saturated. So there's a lot of different market fatigue here. So ultimately what you need to do is just create a new category, frame your offer in a completely new way. This sounds like kind of pie in the sky in terms of just creating a new category. In some cases you can, in some cases you won't be able to do so. But just sharing with you the stages and what's possible so you know. So let's talk blue ocean versus red ocean, right? So competition for blue is going to be low, red is going to be high. In terms of just the broader segmentation here, you want to focus more on competing in a less competitive environment, and that's because there's just going to be less participants, there's going to be less price competition, there's going to be less people vying for the same customers. And so if you can get yourself into blue ocean, you're just going to be way further along. So here's a first action step in this process, right? So first, you want to run a competitive research analysis. So the way you do that, just identify 5 direct competitors, analyze how they position themselves, look at their pricing, their messaging, their differentiation on their website, and then just think through your market. Understand if it's highly competitive or red ocean, or if it's underdeveloped and more of a blue ocean. And so if you are doing this analysis and you realize, hey, you have a market that's red ocean, you can compete head on with the big market players, or you can try to reframe the problem and focus more on blue ocean. And so we're going to focus more on blue ocean in this example. So next step here is defining the right narrative. In other words, we'll talk positioning. So what is B2B positioning? Most people think positioning is like branding, but that's really not what it is. Positioning is context. So let me break this down with a very simple analogy. I like to use the cake versus muffin analogy, right? So what's really the difference between these two? Not much. Both are baked goods. One might be sweeter, but that's really about it. The key difference is the context, right? So if a product is framed as a breakfast muffin instead of a dessert cake, it changes how people will perceive it in terms of its price, in terms of its competition. And this one is very important when they consume it, right? So would you eat a cake for breakfast? Probably not. Would you eat a muffin for breakfast? Sure. For dessert, would you choose a muffin over a cake? Likely not, but you would choose a cake, right? Same product, different use context. That's the important point to note. So your positioning ultimately decides who you compete with, what customers expect, and how much you can charge. Your positioning is either an unfair advantage or a slow death sentence. So most companies make the mistake of trying to be for everybody. The fact is though, the winners choose to own a niche first and then they expand from there. Let me give you an example of Salesforce, right? So they owned a niche initially. They're a global brand now, but they started really small. First, they dominated the SMB or the small business market. Then they expanded out into enterprise. The key takeaway here is if your product looks and sounds like everything else, customers are going to default to the biggest name they trust, which isn't you. And so as a result, you really need to dig into your differentiation and understand how you're different from your competition. So how do you actually find the right positioning? Most founders will start with what they've built. Instead, start with customers actually need. Think about it in terms of red ocean positioning, right? You want to use social proof, testimonials, hard ROI metrics. You want to highlight why your execution is better. In other words, it's done for you. You're using some sort of AI, it's performance-based, and you need to make sure it's clear why switching to you is worth it. This is if your market is red ocean, obviously. On the other hand, if your market is blue ocean, you can educate your prospects by highlighting an overlooked problem. Position your solution as the only logical choice, or you can use comparisons to outdated methods to make the switch feel super obvious. Next action step is to create a one-sentence positioning statement. For example, this is a really basic framework you can use. We help target customer or ideal customer achieve a specific outcome by your unique method. Unlike the old way the competition is doing it, and then you mention your key differentiator. Now, this is going to be basically your framework for cold emails, which you'll then use to go outreach to the market and actually attract them and get them in your funnel. Now let's talk differentiation. How to win in a red or a blue ocean. The fact of the matter is customers choose the easiest, the fastest, and the least risky option. Your differentiation should focus on one or more of these. In a red ocean, standing out through tangible proof, right? Your prospect already knows solutions like yours exist. The key challenge here though is competing on performance, efficiency, or risk reduction. So the best differentiation levers are less work. So again, right? Done for you services, you can automate it away, you can integrate faster results, you can get value immediately, you can win rapidly, you can build them templates, all examples. You can lower their risk. In other words, people think about guarantees, performance-based pricing, free trials. All of these are options to make yourself more competitive. Now on a blue ocean, people might not know you already exist, or people don't even know a solution like yours exists. So the focus here is to educate and frame the market. You must first teach the problem before selling the solution. And so the best differentiation levers for blue ocean is reframing the pain point. In other words, make that old way that they're probably doing right now seem super outdated. You can do category creation. So position yours as the only legitimate solution. Or again, like you can use guarantees. You can reduce perceived risk with those guarantees. Guarantees can be better when it comes to blue ocean markets because buyers are less skeptical. Guarantees in red ocean markets don't work as well because again, they're higher skepticism. They don't think that they'll get the refund or they'll get the guarantee. And as a result, it doesn't matter. So some examples of differentiation, right? Again, less work. We'll fully automate your outbound email sequences so you never have to touch a CRM again, right? Fully automate your outbound email, and then talking about never touching a CRM as like the negative downside, the thing that they're probably doing a lot, right? You could insert prospecting, doing cold calling, reaching out to leads. That's an example, right? Faster results. You can increase their response rates by 20% in the first 7 days so we can achieve more results, right? Or we'll refund you. Less risk here. We'll guarantee a certain number of qualified sales calls or you don't pay, right? These are just some basic differentiations you can use in your own situation to work with. Action step number 3. So choose one key differentiation angle and integrate it into your messaging. So look at your competition, see how their messaging is, how do they frame their value, and then you can identify an angle where you can reduce the work, you can increase the speed or lower the risk for your customer. And then integrate this differentiation into your landing pages, your outbound messaging, anywhere that the prospect is going to see that message and see ultimately how it helps the conversion rates. Next step here, demand capture versus demand generation. So you want to align your offer with demand. So once you have a differentiated offer, align it with the type of demand that you're targeting. So warm, offers, also known as demand capture offers. So in this case, your audience already knows the problem. The traffic typically comes from Google Ads, from SEO, from inbound referrals. And in order to actually resonate with these folks, you need proof. You need a lot of it. So talk about ROI, case studies, use direct response principles. And an example you can use here, if you're selling CRM software, you can target search terms like best CRM for agencies because demand already exists. Right. That's if you're doing paid ads, but ultimately, right, paid ads is traffic generation, cold email, traffic generation. It's all really the same. It's just where the audience is actually receiving the message. So let's talk cold offers, or these are more demand generation offers. So for these, your audience doesn't know they need this yet. It requires education content. So in this case, right, post on LinkedIn, use your email. You can do webinars. You can do different types of video, YouTube videos, trainings, all this good stuff. Ultimately, you need to lower the risk, offer something like an intro offer, drive the action, right? If you're launching new AI prospecting tool, most buyers don't know it exists. And so you'll need to run outbound sequences, likely with some sort of educational component as an example. Here's another action step for number 4 here, right? So choose the right type of offer for your demand strategy. So if you're in a red ocean, you got more of a demand capture offer, create some kind of a call to action. Curious to see how we increase our conversion rates for our customer when you're talking about actual cold demand or generation offers, demand generation offers, better for blue ocean. An example would be like find out how much revenue you're losing from abandoned leads and then get a free audit, right? So once you've determined your demand strategy, test this by running 2 versions on your outreach, right? Try some more warm, try some cold, fix those based on what's actually resonating with the audience, what's getting more replies, what's getting better conversions, and there you know. Then the last step, once you've mapped your entire market, you understand what's going on, you have your differentiation, you know if you want to go warm or cold, create your intro offer. You'll want to reduce friction to become a customer for your prospects. And so your intro offer is the first step to closing deals, especially for cold outreach prospects. So to increase conversion rates, your intro offer should remove risk and make it easy to say yes. If you're running a B2B service, here's a couple examples. You can have a low ticket test offer, right? You can create 8 high converting ad creatives for $1,000, and if they don't perform, we'll refund you. Performance-based model will get you a certain number of appointments, or they're not paying, pay after results. You only pay after we build and deliver the thing, or you can give them something like an audit. Right? I recorded a breakdown of 3 simple changes to improve your funnel. You want to see it? All good examples for service businesses. And now if you're running a B2B SaaS, you can give them an extended trial, right? So 30 days free plus free onboarding, or you can do a migration, something of that nature, right? You can leverage a lead magnet or a specific tool, calculator type thing, finding out how many anonymous visitors are on your website, scan it, see if you can get more leads from it, right? You can do usage-based pricing. So that's similar to performance-based pricing, but for a software. So, you can try this for free and then only pay for leads you actually close. In this case, it's probably going to be more like pay for only the data that you're leveraging, right? Or you can book a demo, right? That's a good offer. Give something that's value here, right? That's the key important thing. You can't just run the demo. You got to give them a carrot to want to actually show up to the call. How to actually cut your lead cost in half. That's an example of a real measurable, tangible benefit that the prospect can expect to gain after taking you up on your offer. And so an action step for this step here is create a low friction offer and add it in your funnel. First, to do so, identify your pain. So list the top pain points your ideal customer experiences. Then you want to map the pain to your service, right? So clearly show how your service or your product directly solves each pain point. And then you can define a low risk entry point. So each step in your service delivery, you can ultimately create a low risk way for a customer to engage with that part of the service, right? You have 10 different steps in your service delivery. Your customer could be interested in step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And if you can solve those for them, get value, they're going to be that much more likely to stick around and solve steps 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10 and beyond, right? And then again, right, the 4th step, ensure minimal commitment with high value. Super low friction, low effort, but immediately valuable to a prospect. And there's a lot of ways you can actually increase the value perception, but providing them with content, resources, quick wins, so they can achieve some kind of value while you're delivering is a really great way to extend the long-term value of your customer. And then the last step here is just deploy across your marketing, right? So put in your cold emails, put in your landing pages, put in your ads. You got to test it. It's rare that you figure out 1.5 intro offer and it crushes, you're going to have to do a little bit of iteration, talk to the market, talk to your customers, talk to prospects, understand what's working, what's interesting, and what's not. Get rid of what isn't and just keep doing what is. Last step, book a call, get a free strategy session. We'll work your intro offer. We'll see if it's a good fit. If you agree, next step, we'll decide to work together. I'll help you fill your pipeline, 10 plus qualified leads a month. But that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Peace.